My child wants to eat all the time. What do I do? Very common question that I've gotten since helping my daughter, Melanie, lose a lot of weight. So different moms have been asking different things. So I figure I'll come to you guys via video. Now, it's important that you guys understand that I am not a pediatrician. I am a registered nurse, but not a pediatrician. So you should probably take your child to the pediatrician before you plan on starting any kind of meal altering. All right, so I've got 6 points for you guys. Point number 1. Hormonal changes and growth spurs can cause your child to be hungrier than normal. Their body is looking for the nutrients to support the growth that their body is going through. We can't stop that. So be mindful of that. Point number 2. Are you thirsty or are you hungry? It's very common for kids to confuse these two, between being hungry and being thirsty. So what you want to do is have their special water bottle or their water cups available for them to drink. You can explain to them at this point the difference between being hungry and being thirsty. And that could be, hunger is that uncomfortable feeling that you feel in your tummy. Thirst can be related to like your tongue being dry. So let them drink a cup of water and then wait for a little bit, and then you can reassess to see which one it is. Point number 3, pretty big point. Okay, so point number 3 is assessing your child for hunger. So what I've used with my own daughter is a hunger chart that's on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 means that I am as hungry as a bear. I'm super hungry, I'm about to eat the house. Up to 5 is like the middle, where you're not too hungry, but you're not full either. And point number 10 is I am so full, my tummy hurts, I overdid it. So you never want your child to be at a level 1, because that's being too hungry. They have a tendency to overeat in that situation. So you want to make sure they eat at a level 2 or 3. Just before they get to that point of being ravishingly hungry. Or you never want them to get to a level 10, because that's just overeating just because. Now, if your child is rating their hunger between 5 and 10, it could very much be related to an emotion. So at this point, you want to ask your kids, okay, how are you feeling? And sometimes the kids say, I'm bored, or I'm anxious, or I'm lonely. And this is a chance for you to sit down and talk to your kids, dive into those emotions that they're having, because this could be why your kids are overeating, because of that, because they're emotionally eating. So you want to address that at the point. You can talk to them. For older kids, you can have them journal about it. Your kids are bored, you can insert some activities in there. You can have them do coloring books or take them outside to play. So just helping them understanding that emotional feeling they're having when they're saying that, I'm not hungry, but I just want to eat, kind of thing. And with this hunger chart, you can also use animals. As hungry as a dinosaur will be like being too hungry, and as hungry as a dog could be subtle. And then you can do the same for being full. So use that scale, see how it works for you, and let me know. Another question you can ask the kids to figure out if they're truly hungry or emotionally hungry is, are you hungry in your tummy or are you hungry in your head? Because if you're hungry in your tummy, it can be associated with that stomach discomfort we mentioned earlier. Or in your head, it could be just craving for certain foods. And we'll talk about how certain foods are addicting later on in the video. But craving for certain foods, or just eating because of emotion. And then you can dive into those emotional aspects of why kids eat so much, why they hide foods, why they get up in the middle of the night and eat. That also very important, if you're going to teach the kids about listening to their bodies, if they're hungry or not, you never want to pressure them to eat when they say they're full. That kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion. Point number 4, certain foods are created to make your child more hungry. So if your child is coming to you 30 minutes after they eat and is saying, Mom, I'm hungry, they probably are. These foods, according to a study done by 17 women and 17 men, they take half the time to digest and half the amount of energy to digest in your system. So they're going through the system pretty fast and causing you to be even hungrier. And with that, you can sit down and consume more calories because of that. So people have a tendency to want to eat more of these foods. They're super addicting. I know you've heard the research that said that these processed foods trigger the same point in your brain that cocaine does. That is how addicting processed food is. It makes you want more, and then you eat more because it's easy to digest, and it digests fast, so you're hungrier and you're craving more. It's just like a revolving door. They not only spike your blood sugars, they later on cause insulin resistance and high triglycerides. But those foods such as your chips, your pizzas, your donuts, they release dopamine, and that's pleasure. So that's why your kids are craving these foods. That's why your kids are saying, I'm hungry faster, because they are. These foods digest fast. So you want to make sure you watch those foods and stuff that your kids are eating a lot of, so that we can change, the way they react to food and the way that they feel. This brings me to point number 5. So you want to have a set time for meals. This is what I've done that worked for us. We've made 5 meals, and you can do 6 even. So you have your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and then snacks in between. And the snacks are never high in calories. So about 100 calories for snacks, so that the kids are not getting hungrier faster. And with that, you want to make sure that these foods that you're giving these kids are higher in protein, are higher in your fiber, your whole grains. You can do smoothies, you can do shakes, you want to do nuts and cheese, and you want to do healthier fats like your avocado. If you make these meals with more filling foods, like I've mentioned, then the kids have a tendency to be a little bit less hungry. Now, I'm not saying that, you can't give your kids any kind of processed food of all, because even I have given my child some. So I know my child likes like Rice Krispie treats. So instead of giving her a whole lot of it, I'll give her the tiny one that's about 45 calories, a little bit less in sugar. And then I'll pair that with some cheese or some vegetables or something, and even something like Oreo. I'll let her have like 1 cookies instead of 2, and then give her the vegetables and those other filling foods with it, so they're not coming back often saying, Mom, I'm still hungry, can you feed me? And my final point, number 6, is you never want to label foods good or bad, because you don't want to develop that psychological thought about food, which is why we have used the red light system. We use red lights for foods that we eat in moderation, and then we use our green light food for the foods that are nutritious for our body that we eat more often. So you don't want the kid to feel guilty when they're eating those foods that you let them have once in a while. So be careful about how you talk to the kids about certain foods. But education, I hope that has been helpful to you guys. That has certainly helped me. Stay tuned for more videos, because I'll be covering more topics and talking about, my next topic will be how to get those picky eaters to eat more vegetables. Stay tuned.